sip that coffee, get your mind right, and vibe with the queen herself. We're dishing out hot topics, wellness tips of the day, and things that make you go, Let's get this palace party started.
All right, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Welcome to Wednesday morning corporate segment, you all. Listen, welcome. We've been doing such a great job on Wednesday mornings for the corporate segment that YouTube, watch this. Let me know if y'all can hear me first. Good morning, to Latrice, Linda Gamble, the Estet Noir. I see all of you coming through. Aunt Debbie. Let's see, Muted Expressions, Jodeci. I'm just calling out randomly, y'all. I'm not going to go through the whole list. I'm just trying to make sure that you all can hear me coming through before I continue on. Ruby Jewel, I see you, Queen. Aunt Debbie, did I say Aunt Debbie already? Janice Walker, I see you all the way at the top. Pink Hearts Forever. Regina B, yes. Let's see. Where Linda Gamble at? Where is Linda Gamble? Okay, good, Lonnie. Thank you. Thank you, the Estet. Thank you. Good morning, Kicking It with Courtney. Y'all, we have some fantastic conversation today. But before I get to that, let me just tell you, happy Wednesday. Hi, Jamar. Welcome. So we have been doing such a great job of hosting these Wednesday morning corporate segment that YouTube has automatically automated this into a podcast. They have automated it into a podcast. It's now being featured as a podcast segment on YouTube. Man. So I just want to say thank you, Palace. Yeah, I wanted to share that news with you, and it actually happened probably a little bit over a month ago. But y'all know me, I'll sit on information for a little bit until I can understand what's going on. So listen, I love it. Thank you. Sugar says, woo, woo. The Estet Noir says, yippee, congratulations, Queen. Thank you. And the reason why I'm just sharing that is because sometimes you ain't got to do nothing when it comes to the work that you do, but sit back, do your work, keep your head down, and the rest will take care of itself. So that is a prime example that hard work does pay off. And the only secret to success as it relates to any type of work that you do is consistency is key. We've been consistent so much so that the computer pegged these conversations as a podcast. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to apply for anything. And YouTube just said, we've identified this as a podcast segment. So it's now listed as a podcast. So thank you. Listen. So that's pretty cool. And I want to answer a question. So I try to get through before we jump into corporate segment. Somebody asked me a question last night, and let me see if I can find it. They said, Queen Sheba, you never answered the question. If Melody leaves Love and Marriage Huntsville, and this is not a Love and Marriage Huntsville segment, but I just want to answer this question really quickly. It says you didn't answer the question. If Melody leaves the Huntsville segment, what will you cover? What will your channel be about? And I said, really? What are we covering today? My channel has always been diverse. I'm like, did y'all really just ask me that question? Have you not heard of Corporate Wednesdays? Have you not heard of Sunday sessions? Are you not aware that we do book clubs? Do you not see when I post Real Housewives of Potomac? Do you not see when I cover other hot news, Twitch, Shanquilla Robinson? I mean, did you really ask me that question? Who said that? Who said that? Do you not see us talk about insurance and bring in experts? Do you not see? Really? What else would I cover? So I said that to say maybe sometimes those are some of the things that you only tune in for, but the Palace has always and will continue to be diverse. That's it. That's all. Oh, yeah. So that's it. That's all. Let me grab my cup of coffee and then we're going to start. I really want to dig in deep. Oh, man. And I want to talk about the unemployment rates. Y'all, there has been an upshift since November 2024. Okay. We're not even 90 days past November. They don't know, Miss. Yeah, yeah. There's an upshift in unemployment rates, and we need to talk about who's going to be most likely impacted. Okay. So give me 1 second. Let me grab my cup of coffee. I encourage you to do the same. If you're at work, go ahead and put in your earphones, grab your cup of coffee, run and warm it up, do whatever you need to do, but we're going to talk. And you might want to take this off speaker if you're in your cubicle. Give me 1 second. All right, I got my coffee in hand, honey, and I'm ready to go. So we're going to talk about the upshift and unemployment rates. And y'all, there has been, I don't know if you're aware of it, but I'm going to share with you an amazing article that was done by Essence Magazine. And it's called Beating DEI Divestment. There are some things going on. There has been a shift in the ecosystem, and you need to be aware of it. And how I came by this information is I thank God for all of my professionals that I am connected with and have the wherewithal to share important information with me so that I can share it with you all. A really good friend of mine tagged me on LinkedIn about this article. And woo, it's good. It's really, really good. So I clicked the article, I started to read it, and I stopped. I said, because I really want to do it in real time together. I want to do it in real time together. And job reports show Black women's unemployment has seen an upshift. Whew. So we're going to talk about why are Black women leading in unemployment. And some of you may be sitting there and thinking, not me. It's happening, y'all. It's happening behind the scenes. And if it's okay with you, I would like to take a deep dive and just kind of pull out some things and share what strategies you may want to consider putting in place should you become impacted by the upshift in unemployment. And not just as a Black woman, but as a woman, period, as a man, period, right? But this article is specific to Black women, but that doesn't mean that there will not be any gems and strategies that you can implement in your own teams, in your own professional journey, just in case. Just in case. Okay, Vibrant Thing says, I just read about the unemployment rate increase. Yes, yes, yes. But compared to others, Black women are being let go quicker and faster. Period, point blank. Yes. All right. Let me remove my overlay so that we can. Would you like for me to place the article up so that you can follow in real time? Or do you prefer that I not? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. Here we go. All right. Let me know when you can see the screen and we will get started. Looks like you can. All right. So if you are here today for gossip, entertainment, it's not that kind of show. This is different. This is a corporate segment where we kind of lean into corporate America. And thank you for all of you that have sent me emails, DMs, saying how this corporate segment has really assisted you in mapping out your career, your journey, your promotions, everything that's related to corporate America. We really appreciate you tuning in. But yeah, why are Black women leading in unemployment? So let's talk about it. Here's what the article has to say. And maybe I may have to stop sharing because it's just scrolling too quick. All right. This article was released December 31st, 2024. Black women have historically and continue to experience high unemployment rates than other groups of women. But this recent decline in employment is significant compared to recent years. They're talking about what's happening behind the scenes is more significant now than compared to recent years. In fact, recent jobs data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed that the unemployment rate climbed sharply for Black women in November. While further analysis shows that the overall jobless rate edged up slightly last month, that was in November, from 4.2%. It edged up 0.1%, y'all. It went from 4.1 to 4.2%. And although other marginalized groups saw a slight increase as well, Black women experienced the most significant uptick, with their jobless rate surging to 6% from 4.9%. In comparison, the jobless rate for white women ticked up slightly, 0.1%. So white women went up 3.3% to 3.4% in October, but there was a huge jump for Black women from 4.9% to 6%. The report also shed light on the overall labor force participation rate, which measures who is looking for work. For Black women, that number dipped to 62.3% in November compared to 62.6% in October. What's the cause of it? See, let's get to the root of the problem. And according to this article by Essence Magazine, it says it's layered. It's a layered problem. This being an election year definitely plays a part, but what sits on top of that is the repeal of the affirmative action legislation in addition to the rollback of DEI, says Patrice Williams-Lindo, who's a change management consultant and founder of Career Pivot Strategy from Career Nomad. As you think about what that looks like, it means that we start out behind the gate already, whether from entry level all the way up to leadership, which we make up less than 7% of all C-suite levels across the nation. And I do believe, based on this article, you're going to start to see less and less and less. As Essence previously reported, the Supreme Court ruled in 2023 that the race-conscious admissions program at Harvard and University of North Carolina have been deemed unconstitutional, and both are in violation of the Equal Protection Clause. Woo! Let me pause so that can marinate, and then let me see if we have any questions or comments in the chat that I should be aware of. Kicking It with Courtney says, that's why I need YouTube to sustain me. I was in a white company and performing way better than the girls, but got laid off. Got laid off. Courtney, what month was that? Because according to Essence Magazine, they saw a huge increase starting November of 2024 for African American women. I want to see if that's in alignment with your experience. The J. Crew Squad and Danda the Panda says, I know so many Black women who have been either laid off, fired, or forced out of their jobs due to mistreatment. I think you're going to start to see a lot more, according to the data from the Labor Bureau of Statistics, okay? Hopefully I said that right. All right, let's see. I just got another one. J28T says some of the increase is due to seasonal jobs ending, but I have seen a now hiring sign outside one of those restaurants. Oh, okay. September. Okay, Courtney, September. Gotcha. All right, so let's continue. Because less of us are around, then there are less decision makers that look like us that can speak to who we really are and ultimately hire us for the positions we are qualified for, but do not have access to. Hold on, let me go back up. So we go to a different portion of the article, and it's titled, Will Black Female Employment Rebound Anytime Soon? Let's get into it. Black women face a double burden of racism and sexism, which can lead to underrepresentation and high-wage jobs, y'all. We're talking about high-wage jobs, okay? No disrespect. We're not talking about restaurants or anything like that. But they're saying when it comes to the high-wage positions, the good money, Black women face a double burden of racism and sexism. Not to eliminate that other women are also up against this, but it's double the amount for African American women. However, the writer does believe there could be a light at the end of the tunnel. We have a way of being resilient in even the most dire of circumstances. So I do believe there'll be a downturn in unemployment for Black women, she says, as we saw with the political events of the past few months, namely within the support groups for VP Harris. There are enough of us getting the word out about the disparities we face. Then we shift to beating DEI divestment. What does that mean? Since the repeal of the affirmative action, a conscious effort has been made against DEI, and Black women have been among the most adversely affected. The best way to work around the anti-woke policies is by shifting focus on what cannot be taken away from you. And that's your skill set, you all. Sharpening up your skill set, leaning into the things that you do well. But let me continue. One of the things myself, and she's talking about herself, and many of my colleagues do is empower each other. One of the core offerings of my practice is teaching people about the power of recognizing their transferable skills. For example, if you are a laid off educator, I let that person know that they do have the ability to take complex information and synthesize it, which can be valuable to a software company that may be hiring. So she just gave an example of how you can lean into your skills and utilize your experience, your skill set to be able to tell a compelling story to shift or transition your career into a different realm. She says, same thing for a chief diversity officer. With the repeal of DEI initiatives, you have scores of DEI practitioners that think they are limited to that space. But if you translate that, that's employee engagement and customer experience. There are other ways that you can retool what you have as your key transferable skills. And not only that, if you know corporations, and I'm going off the grid for a second, if you have been placed in positions that are now being eliminated that's specific to DEI efforts, I would encourage you to revamp your resume and take that title away so that corporations that are now effective immediately denouncing, removing any of these programs, so that when you do apply, that language is not there. She just said what you can do. You can take it and title it employee engagement and customer experience. Are y'all following me? All right, let's continue. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, wait, whoa. Yeah, that's it. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah. All right, that's the article. That's the article. That's it. That's all. And it sounds like corporations they started to, let me go back because I want to make sure I'm using the right terminology. Based on reports, right, from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, based on reports that they received from Q4 of 2024, that's where these numbers are coming from. So it seems like there has been a shift in corporate America, and they started these layoffs with Black women as early as November. They have the data to support that. It looks like it started as early as November. The Estat Noir says, my firm went privatized from publicly held in late October 2024. My entire executive team, with two exceptions, either quit or got furloughed. Non-Black executives still quickly, they were quickly hired elsewhere. Okay, listen, here's what you can do. Typically, these types of layoffs, and this is not a fear-based conversation. This is a proactive conversation. So, Queen Sheba, what can we do? Now we have the information. Let's talk strategy. Let's talk strategy. What can we do? How can we employ ourselves to be proactive? Well, let's talk about dates. Typically, if a corporation is going to do something like that, it's typically in Q4 when you start to see mass layoffs. Q4, October, November, December. Okay. They ramped up in November of last year. If you work in a high wage paying job, if you're in a corporation where you receive bonuses, most bonuses are paid out in April, I do believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, based on my experiences. They are paid out in April. So it could happen in March and or April, which is considered Q1 of 2025. Okay. So what does that mean? Refresh your resume. If you understand what's happening If you put a little research into corporations that are now, let's see, if you put a little research into corporations that are now removing any DEI efforts, programs, um, ask yourself, is my corporation one that's doing that? And this gives you enough wherewithal to become proactive. Okay. How do you become proactive? By controlling what you can control, upgrading your resume, editing, revising the title that people deem as taboo. So if you were a DEI officer, DEI coordinator in HR, you're going to change that. You need to change it because the room is shifting. The room is shifting. There's also, if your corporation plans on doing a mass layoff, they have to report it. I know what you mean, to SEC first. They do, but there's a website. Yeah, where you can go to. It's called, it's public something. I'll put it in the chat because I'm trying to talk and look at the same time. Let me type it in. And you can go to this website. They have to report it to the federal government. January, February. Yeah, it's paid in April. Bonuses are historically paid Q2. Yes, in April, the month of April, typically around the second or third week in April. So either they're going to let you go right before you get that bonus or after you get it. Plan accordingly. This is not a fear-based conversation. We are being proactive. Now, let me find a website for you that you can go on to find out if your company has a mass layoff coming to what site. Okay, I'm gonna tell you. Warn database. Let me tell you what it is. Hold on. No, is this it? That can't be it. I think it's called Warn. Is it layoff data? Hold on, no, that ain't it. Y'all please work with me. There is a website, I promise you. Is it Warn? Okay, somebody help me out. I can't do both now. Let me text my friend. Give me 1 second. All right. So as we gear up for the new year, you should have at least two versions of your resume that you could and should be working on. You don't have to tackle it all at once. It can be completely overwhelming. You can just start with one job. And let me tell you something too. You just need one page. Ain't nobody reading all of that. You don't need 20 years of job history. You need one good page. Okay? Here's the rule of thumb. At least 10 years. That's it. And if you've been in your job for 7, and then that's all you need, y'all. You don't need all of that. 2, 3, 4 pages. They're not reading that. And half the time it's going through a computer system that's using AI. Okay. So make sure that you are doing your due diligence, that you stay ready so you don't have to get ready and not anticipating. Warn tracker. It could be it. Not that you're anticipating doomsday, but you're ready. Make sure you're working on your finances, that you don't have a lot of debt outside of psychological safety items, car insurance, electricity, paying for your mortgage, your rent, gas to get to and from in your car, food, all that other stuff. If you can, start taking good care of it so that if there is a shift and there is a spike, and it continues to be a spike and an upshift in unemployment rates for African American women, you're okay. you're okay because you don't have so much debt that you can't go work anywhere. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I wanted to let me see. I know there's a specific website. I don't want to guess. I want to put it in the chat. Hold on. I'm waiting for my friend to send it back to me. Hold on. So that's basically the gist of the article. Compared to other peer groups, we are being laid off more. Unfortunately, due to what is it? The DEI divestment. Corporations are saying it's unfair. It's unfair to our other people. We're not going to have any DEI efforts, affirmative action strategies in place, and may the best man win. And unfortunately, this is all subjective for how it's determined who's worthy and who's not. I am going to play you a video of what I found. Let me share some other stuff. Give me 1 second. For corporate America, give me 1 second. And then I'm still waiting on that website to come through. But do you have any questions? Welcome, Trending at Some Point. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. You got the floor. What are your thoughts?
I was going to offer some tips, some advice real fast for like you said, go ahead and start getting that resume updated, realign it, stay away from the things, obviously the phrases that they may not want to hear now and things like that. I just wanted to add, we had looked at ChatGPT to help rewrite your resume. You can also ask it to ask you interview questions based on the position you're looking for and provide really good answers, and to make it ChatGPT undetectable. So I just wanted to add that part too for people that will be redoing their resume and everything.
I had to come off mute. No, thank you. Okay, are y'all understanding what Trending's saying? Everybody got it? I think, okay. And you said make it now, I will say this. Okay, JR23 says, great point. Great point. Thank you, JR. They are a great resource, and I agree. I agree 1,000%. But I want to add one caveat. Make sure you, in addition to allowing a computer to do work for you, you still get in there and you use your brain so that you can still have that deep thinking power, right? One thing about deep thinking, and I'm gonna probably say that's a Gen X strong ability, because we had to be deep thinkers before there were computers. And if we rely too much on technology, it takes away your ability to kind of be scrappy in real time without the assistance of technology. But Chat GPT and AI is an excellent source, but you don't want it to take the place of your brain power. So you utilize it, you take what you need, and you leave the rest. Would that be fair?
That's fair, because I'm all about balance. I'm always about balance. No extreme on any side.
Okay, got it. Oh, they said, and Snatched by Diego, he's agreeing. He said, you got to be very careful because they have systems to flag Chat GPT. But yes, ain't that crazy? We're pushing AI, but we're also going to punish you for using it. We're gonna flag it when we see it. So what's the point of us using it if it's going to eliminate me and dequalify me? You know why? Because they still have to be able to know that you can get the job done without the assistance of AI. That's what that's just my opinion. Let's see. Simone Wealthy says, Queen, I start a DEI class with my company next week. Child, I have to create a third resume now yeah, I would. I would. I would go through my LinkedIn and clean it up right now. Now, I would still copy everything. This is what you can do. Don't ever get rid of it without a copy. I would still copy everything and have it somewhere plugged into a note where I can place it right back in as the world turns, because there's nothing new underneath the sun. History always repeats itself. And all it takes is one damn incident of brutality, inequality for everybody to spin the block and refurbish the efforts. I bet you won't, says, hi. Both great options to get an updated one. Yeah, it'll give you a head start. It's a starting point, right? Chat GPT and AI. It's a starting point. But you don't want to rest there because, like they say, they do have systems in place to be able to detect it, and you're going to get thrown out anyway. And what I mean by thrown out, they'll kick your resume out anyway. Anything you want to add to that, Trending?
I just want to repeat one part just in case it
Okay,
wasn't.
I'm gonna go on mute.
Can you hear me? Okay. Real fast, and I hear y'all, and I agree with y'all about they can detect it. I just want to reiterate my one point because the AI does evolve, so don't forget to think deeply, like Queen said, and you also can have it filter out things that make it AI detectable. And I always do this too. Before AI was there, I'm not gonna lie, I would apply for jobs I didn't really want, but kind of needed the practice. And that way you can go ahead and figure it out before you get to the ones you really want. But I am about balance. So I'm not trying to overly defend anything, but I just want to point out that even that has a workaround. But yes, always use your brain as well. I'm an elder millennial, so we had the before the technology really hit, and then also the benefit of using the technology as it came in. So I totally understand.
Thank you. Thank you for going deeper on that. The J. Crew Squad and Danda the Panda says you also have to decide if you want to work for an organization that does not value DEI. Those places could possibly have more issues of mistreatment and harassment. Know your temperament. My field. What field are you in? You know, it's kind of I would always say get a feel for the culture of anything. As you're out there looking and searching for viable employment, y'all do your research. You're dating. If you were going on a date, if you were invited to go on a date, you not snooping? Because you should be. I need to know who's on the team. What's her Facebook? Ooh, I don't like her facial expression. Stuff like that. Any other Black people, any other Middle Eastern, any other Latinos, any other women. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to be the only one. I ain't trying to learn that damn hard. I'm just saying, do your due diligence of not walking in naked and afraid. You get what I'm saying? Where you walk into a situation where you be like, oh, ain't no Black. Oh, ain't no. Oh, no women are here. How come you didn't notice that at first? How come you didn't click and go down a rabbit hole as it relates to the organization, the reviews, who's sitting high in what positions, looking up who's on LinkedIn that works there? Y'all got to start getting sharp, and you can get a really good feel from behind the scenes. Okay. Oh, okay. He's agreeing with you. Yep. He's agreeing with you. Uh, Kat says, this is so true. I've seen so many people start at my former employer and eventually they all quit. Danda the Panda says, this is my last week as equity and oh, wow. This is my last week as equity and inclusion officer in title. What's that? 10? Anti-discrimination. What is that? Title 5? Anti-discrimination. Now, Trending, what is that?
Wait.
Oh, hold on now. Help me
Yeah, that's
now.
9. That's Title
Oh, Title
9.
9. Okay.
That's not.
Okay. Don't let your girl go out like that. Title 9, anti-discrimination person for a large school district. I start a new job next week. Oh, is it in the same wheelhouse? Is it in the same realm, the same language, the same job description?
It looked like it's just missing the D.
Yeah.
It's EI.
Title 9. Okay. Wow. The Warren Tracker site is interesting if accurate. It gives the date, the note. Yeah. I think that's it. But I forgot what it stands for. Let me put it in my phone. Maybe I can pull up. Let me see. No, it ain't in my text. That's not the job site I'm talking about. Let me put mass. Okay, hold on. All right, let me play something. Thank you, Kat. She says, I just love this community, Queen, and I appreciate you. Thank you. We appreciate you being here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share something else. Oh, Lord. Hold on, y'all. Don't tell me I done deleted the dang thing. Let me hit stop sharing. Give me one. Oh, I know what I have to go to. Hold on. Thank you for your patience, everybody. There's a study that Harvard conducted that I would like to share with you. And I'm doing this because I love women that and men, because we have men here, that empower themselves to say, you know what, I'm not going to wait on permission from anybody. I'm going to get ahead of the curve and I'm going to start being proactive. And it ain't nothing like being proactive because it gives you a sense of achievement and a sense of established confidence. Oh, they dropped the D? Title IX is a sexual harassment and assault. I did investigations on race discrimination and sexual assault. Do you mind sharing your race? Are you male or female? The J. Crew Squad? Danda the Panda sounds like a radio show to me. All right, here we go. Got it. Okay. I'm going to show you all this and give me your thoughts on this study. All right. Here we go. Yeah, I got everything. Okay.
Please explain to me why we are not talking about this Harvard study? This is a study of the effect of white coworkers on Black women's careers. These researchers did not come to play, y'all. They studied over 9,000 inexperienced new hires, and they didn't just study them once. They tracked them for 6 years, over 2014 to 2020. Black women who were initially assigned to whiter teams reported fewer billable hours and more training hours. They were also more likely to be labeled as low performers. They found a 14 percentage point increase in the share of white coworkers was directly associated with a 10.6% increase in turnover for Black women. This is my favorite part, though. Turnover rates for Black women decreased when we worked in groups with more Black colleagues. We really got Black women. We protect us. We protect us. This quote from lead researcher Elizabeth Linos really says it. Retaining Black employees in elite jobs is as important as recruiting them. Retaining. No one considers retention rates when they hire us. They want us, but they don't know how to keep us. This study shows you how. Hire more of us. Can somebody please explain to me why we are not talking about this Harvard study?
All right. What are your thoughts, if any? Trending.
I'm not surprised. I know to go alongside hers, I saw the study that said when we were in the panini and it was more remote work for a while, there was more retention because there was less microaggression because you're not just up under mostly white coworkers and people not of your culture. And there's just certain things that can't happen because you're not in each other's space. But yes, I mean, I agree with all of this. I've definitely seen this, not her a few times, but I've heard it so much. And obviously it's Harvard. So, they've done the research, but yeah, I just agree with it. Go ahead, Queen, but I agree with it.
No. Very good. Thank you for sharing. I'm sitting here thinking, because I also like saying, okay, now we've identified what could be a potential perceived. Let's say perceived. Well, actually, it's not perceived. It's a real barrier. It's a real challenge because it's happening. And it started happening in 2024. But the data was extracted in November. The data. So we would have to say a rollout of maybe 6 months before. Because in order to get data in November, we would have to go back a rolling period of 6 months. So they probably started in June, July, August, September, October, November. No, they started in April. I told you, didn't I say that before? See, if I just pause and do my math, I said normally around bonus time, right before you get your bonus or right after. And typically bonuses are paid out in most corporations in April. Okay.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. Oh, go ahead. Jump in.
No, I was giving you your feedback. Just let you know I'm listening. I said right.
Yeah. So there's called a rolling period, a 6-month rolling period. In order to be able to have substantial data, y'all, you have to have 6 months of a behavior of something that's occurring, and then you extract the data. Do I have any data? Do I have any informatics people on here? Any data and analytics people? Because I'm right. I know I'm right. I used to run reports all the time on how products were performing, but we need 6 months of data before we can report on what's happening. So that means Black women were actually being laid off as early as April of 2024. By the time they ran the report, they needed 6 months of data, which is why you see it and it looks as if it's for November. Well, November was actually when that's when they were able to extract the data. So it can be a bit misleading because you're saying, oh, they started laying off in November. No, they started laying off 6 months before November, and the report was made ready in November. Are y'all following me?
Yes.
I'm getting in my bag. Okay. So what do you have to do? So the first thing we talked about is cleaning up your resume, eliminating anything that would identify you or point you back to those previous positions. It's not against the law to use a different word. This is where thesaurus needs to become your best friend. The article also gave you some examples of how you can say engagement, employee experience. Take the DEI off. That's the first thing. The second thing is, hold on. I think I got so deep into that damn data, I lost my thought. Let me play this video one more time.
This is a study of the effect of white coworkers on Black women's careers. These researchers did not come to play, y'all. They studied over 9,000 inexperienced new hires, and they didn't just study them once. They tracked them for 6 years, over 2014 to 2020. Black women who were initially assigned to whiter teams reported fewer billable hours and more training hours. They were also more likely to be labeled as low performers. They found a 14 percentage point increase in the share of white coworkers was directly associated with a 10.6% increase in turnover.
Write that down for me. The study found that a 14% point increase in the share of white coworkers. What does that mean? In the share of white coworkers was associated with 10.6% point increase in turnover for Black women.
Can I add something about the performance part too, that low performance?
Sure.
One of the things, and I didn't know, because the first time I got it, I was in my early 20s and I didn't know it was from a cultural difference. But one of the things that got me marked down in my performance rating at an older job I had was that I wasn't open enough. I wasn't forthcoming enough, meaning I didn't tell my business basically, but they wrapped it in this, oh, you don't really talk about yourself and it's hard to get to know you, which had nothing to do with my performance. But in my early 20s, I didn't realize like you can't, that doesn't matter. But that was definitely one that got me marked lower right there on paper because I wasn't open enough.
Right. You're deemed unfriendly.
Right.
Not able, and I will say this, they're going to find something. If it's not a culturally inclusive environment, first of all, I don't want to be nowhere where you think I'm just there because I'm the color of my skin or my gender. I wouldn't want to work for you anyway. So you're going to have to start to adapt an attitude about who you are and where you believe you belong. Let that linger. I don't believe in kicking in doors where you didn't want to open it for me anyway. I'll take my marbles and I'll go play elsewhere. And that's how you've got to feel about your skill set. Okay? You've got to feel that way about your skill set. Number two, you've got to be able to operate at optimal capacity. What does that mean? Get in there and do a hell of a job. I didn't say overwork. I said get in there and do a hell of a job. Why is that important? Because if there's an uptick and an upshift in unemployment rates for Black women, that means somebody's going to be laid off, right? And if you're going to lay me off, you're not going to lay me off because I was not a high performer. You're just going to lay me off because you know why you laying me off. And I know why you laying me off, but I'll be damned if I don't draw unemployment. You cannot draw unemployment if you are a low performer and if you get fired for different issues, right? Ethical issues, being late, stuff like that. So make sure that as you're checking off your list, you do a self-assessment, your own performance evaluation on yourself, and ask yourself the hard question. Would I keep me? Would I keep me on this team? Trending, would you keep you on the team that you're on now? Keep it real. Oh, she quiet.
Yes, but I could do better right now. They are short right now. They're short staff. So they keep me down, but I know there's some things I need to do better at, being all honest.
Okay, can you jot those things down? Not for us, but just jot them down. And I'm going to challenge some of you to do the same thing. Would you keep you? Only you know how you're really performing. Let's keep it real. Now, if you want to come up and share, I'm going to drop the link. But would you keep you? Let me see. Hold on. Would you keep you? That's the question as an employee. Janice, thank you. She said this is great information. And y'all, let me tell you something. Let not your heart be hardened, because you can't operate in a place where you are coming from, where there's an ill agenda. It's information. Information rules the nation. My people perish. What is it? Perish. Perish? Perish. What is it? Perish?
Perish.
My people perish for what? For lack of knowledge. If you have the information, there are no surprises. Now you can get yourself tightened up, button up a little bit if you need to, if you've been slacking. Get yourself in alignment. Perish. Thank you. Get yourself in alignment. Get to work on time. Make sure your work is quality. Make sure you're adding value. And let me tell you something. Education has nothing to do with value. Certifications have nothing to do with value. And a lot of people sling that around. I see it a lot of times on LinkedIn. I just got certified in this and this and that. I just got educated in this and this and that. Y'all, I am a certified executive coach, and I did it as a volunteer in my corporation. They paid for it. And I would be assigned to work with high-performing men and women in the organization. You do not get to coach low performance. They have no investment in low performance. They're going to get rid of you anyway. So this is a program that's for high performing individuals. And I remember this Black lady I was coaching, very high performer, but she was kind of like, she was going for like on her team. She'd been stuck in a senior role, product development role for quite some time. And she wanted to get into management. She wanted to change her trajectory from being an individual contributor to that of management. Now, me personally, I feel like an individual contributor is the best place to sit. That's just my professional opinion. That's just me, because I can go anywhere as an individual contributor. However, she felt some kind of way. Resentment had begun to set in because she felt like she was being overlooked as a Black woman. And her solution was to become certified in this and this and this and this and that. And y'all, before I knew it, we were in that coaching session. And I said, don't you get not one other damn certification. And when I tell you that lady bust out laughing, I had come out of my trending.
No, I don't have anything.
I said, and before I knew it, I was like, oh shit, I just got unprofessional. Because I'm listening to her. I'm thinking, girl, they got you drinking the Kool-Aid. I said, don't you get not one more damn certification. Don't you pay for not one more piece of education. Because that's not the problem. They're going to continue to move the goalposts. If they don't want you, baby, you becoming certified in something, that ain't going to help you. That's going to break you. Because a lot of these, if you look at these certifications, now they're making them more expensive. Tens and thousands of dollars, some of them, depending on what type of certification. Sit down. Get yourself together. That is not your door. And now that it's taking you 6, 7, 8 years to realize this is as far as you're going to go, what would be your next step? What would be your next step? That lady has thanked me for putting reality in front of her. Stop chasing your tail in organizations where this is as far as you go. Don't be mad about it. Recognize it is what it is. Now, what would be your next step? Would you hire you? Would you promote you? And if not on this team, then what team? There's always room for improvement. And my recommendation is continue to improve the things that you are good at. The things that you're not good at, you're never going to be good at them. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Simone, so much. Not only would I keep me, I would give myself a 40% raise. Y'all are funny. I had a comment that I wanted to go over. Okay, Panda says you are right. My job started acting funny in August, and I said I'm gonna get out before you get me. Period. I am an award winning in my field. They were not going to take me out with the old okey doke. New job next week. That's it. Sometimes y'all, if you pay attention, if you just sit down, it's not a bad thing. We gotta have an openness for change. Sometimes you can see it coming, and if you prepare in a calm state of mind, you have a 6-month head start. You have a 6-month head start. If you see what's happening, if you see a tornado forming 50 miles away and you know it's coming in your direction, you going to let it hit you? Or are you going to get in your car and head the opposite direction? That's it. That's all. Let me see. Okay, Leo says previously I noticed on my resume when I did not list all of my licenses, certifications, I received more calls. You should not list all of them. You only should list the ones that are relevant to the job. And if it's more than 5, I would probably say list the best 3 that would be meaningful to the role that you are applying for. They don't want to see all that. And y'all know how I talk over here. Simone Wealthy said, you just described me, Queen. The only additional thing I'll add is I'm staying for the next few years to get 100% student loan forgiveness. Getting rid of that debt is more important to me now. Hey, Stacy, welcome, welcome. So how do you prepare? Number 1, do you like where you are? That's the first question. Because a lot of y'all are doing things you don't like doing. You'll never, ever do well in a place where you don't like where you are and you don't like where you're doing. You cannot cheat the code. I don't care if it's corporate America. I don't care if it's a marriage or friendship. If you don't like where you are, you're not going to get past the point where you at. It's going to show up because now you're cheating yourself and you're robbing yourself of a phenomenal experience. That's you versus you. Do you like where you are? Thank you. Preach, she says, preach. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. She says she has to go to a meeting. You see how everybody's hesitating when I'm asking that question? Do you like where you are? Do you enjoy what you do? That's either yes or no. That's no in between. That's either a yes or a no. And if you can't answer it, it's because it's no. I just gave you some information and you need to write that down. I don't like where I am. That's a hard truth. I don't like where I am. Thank you, Courtney, for being honest. Is there anybody comfortable enough to come and role play with me if you don't like where you are? And I'm going to show you how to do this thing. I don't even want to role play. I want to keep it real. I'm dropping a link. If anybody's courageous enough, and if you don't like where you are, I'm gonna show you how that looks like to move forward. And I don't know who's coming up, but watch this. Today is January 15th, February, March, April, May. By May, they will be in a different position. And I'm gonna say, if you do this exercise with me, you'll be on your way. I give it 90 days to 120 days. Let me see who clicks the link. I have no idea who's coming up, but watch this. I'm gonna show you how this works. Only if you don't like where you are. Click that link. I just need one example. And it may not happen today. That's fine. Inez says, I told you, Queen, my job was hybrid and they just announced it last week. Everybody's headed back to the office and we have until March to adjust. I would adjust right on out that door. I would adjust. See, you got a head start. You got 90 days. If you see it coming, I got enough time to pack my bags and get the hell out. If you see it coming, I would just right on out that door. I ain't adjusting to nothing. If you like working from home, then you work from home. And I'm showing you how to get in front of your own. We choose how we show up. We write the script to our lives. If you like working from home, I wouldn't return to shit in March. I would already be looking for a new job. Welcome, Kicking It with Courtney.
Hey, Queen. Hey, Palace.
Hey.
Hey, Trinity.
Child, Trinity multitasking. But listen, Courtney, do you mind doing this exercise with me?
No, I don't mind.
Okay, so the question is, do you like where you are? Courtney was the first person to say, no, I don't. Because in order to y'all to really get the best out of where you are, you have to be honest. And sometimes it's not them. So, Courtney, do you like where you are?
No.
Okay. How long have you been there?
About a month now.
Okay, a month.
Mm-hmm.
And you've already identified you don't.
I didn't like my previous job either.
Okay.
Not for a few years.
How long were you in the previous one for?
I was there for about 3 years.
3 years, and you stayed somewhere where you were not comfortable for 3 years.
Nope.
How does that sound?
How does it sound to me?
If you hear somebody say, I stayed over here for 3 years, I didn't like it.
I would be like, why?
Boom. You don't have to answer it out loud, but have you figured out why you would stay somewhere for 3 years that you didn't like?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go into detail if you don't want to.
I stayed familiarity, bills. It was a familiar place. I knew what I was doing. It was comfortable.
Okay.
But I wasn't happy.
But you weren't happy.
Mm-mm.
When did you notice 3 years ago when you was in that place? When did you identify, I don't like it here? At what point?
I probably knew 6 months in.
Okay. Watch this. 6 months in. That's not bad. And you stayed for 2.5 more years past the 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're 1 month in.
Mm-hmm.
Your intuition is kicking in a little bit quicker. So you ignored it the first time. Now it's back. Another place I don't like. What would be the next step?
Well, right now I'm continuing to submit my resume and interview.
Okay. So the next step would be what?
Applying for a different job.
Boom. Are you applying to things that you like, where you see yourself thriving?
Yeah and no.
Is that okay? It has to be yes or no. Let me think about it. That's okay. It ain't no right or wrong. Are you applying to things?
No.
Thank you. Thank you, Courtney. I'm on fire. I'm excited because in order for us to get what we want, we have to be honest. And she's being completely honest. Would you be open to applying to less if it's spot on for what you really want to do, even if it means rejection?
Yes. If I can have the peace of going to work like peacefully and knowing that it's something that I'm passionate about and I'm excited to, go to work, then
Mhm.
yes, I would settle for less.
Okay. Are you open to changing the trajectory of your life and your career by applying to things that you're going to have to go head to head for?
Yes.
Okay. I challenge you to not apply for not one other job that's not going to bring a smile to your face. I challenge you to apply for things where you may not get it, but it's exactly where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I challenge you to research the positions, to get a feel for the language and the lingo. I think you're a very sharp lady. And then I want you to dress up one of your resumes that's
Mm-hmm.
going to get your foot in the door. And I think once you get your foot in the door, you'll be able to score a touchdown. It's going to take a little bit longer because in places that we really want to be, we have to feel like we deserve to be there. It's all about you versus you.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about you versus you. You got to feel like I deserve to be there.
I accept that challenge.
All right. Do you mind following up with us in 90 days? February, March, April 15th.
No, I don't mind.
Okay. Can you set an alarm
For
on
April
your
15th.
phone, a reminder to come back and follow up?
Okay. I'll set a reminder for April 15th.
To come
Correct.
back. Is that a Wednesday? Let me see.
Mm,
Let me pull up my calendar.
well, I'll get my calendar now.
Okay. Let me find it.
April 15th is a Tuesday.
That's right. So April 16th.
16th. Okay.
Yep. It's going to give you 91 days.
Come on, 91 days.
Come on, y'all. Can we pause for a second and send out nothing but good vibrations?
I can't wait, Courtney. I'm ready for April to hear what's going on.
Thank you, Trendy. I can't wait either. I accept the challenge and we'll see. We'll see what I have to report back on the 16th.
Wow. And listen, let's change the language. Can you report back on or before April 16th?
Absolutely. Yes.
Because it may happen quicker than 90 days.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Divine Sparkle says, I needed this so much. All you need to get, you know what happens? Get in front of the right people. Get in front of people that's going to pour into you. That's why they say being on teams, that we need each other, speaking life, protecting each other. What are you doing applying for stuff you don't like? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You got this. They're rooting for you, Courtney.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
Queen-
Stacey says she's going to work with you.
Oh, thank
Ooh,
you.
Look at God. All this help coming through the portal.
Queen, that's part of that effortlessly. Like when you're around the right people, those conversations naturally happen anyway. My friends became lawyers before my eyes because they were in the room. We were in the room with the right people. And DG telling me to take this LSAT now, but it really happens when you're around the right people because that's the conversation anyway when you're around the right people. So yes, effortlessly, this is how it is. I love it.
It's an elevated experience. Yes, I agree, Trendy. And Courtney, I think 90 days or less, that's what I'm speaking. And you got people rallying around you in the chat. Stacy says she's going to work with you. Keisha says, Courtney, you got this. Never underestimate your ability. Step out there. Throw your hat in the ring. It's okay if you don't have it all. That's why I'm applying. This would actually, I really dominate in these areas, but this particular, whatever they're asking you to do, will be a stretch opportunity for me, a chance for me to learn, to become more engaged with the team. Don't be afraid of what you don't know. You got it, Courtney.
Y'all are so sweet. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up and being open to this, just doing that in real time. And that's what it looks like, y'all. Executive coaching.
Thank you, Queen.
You're very welcome. You are very welcome. Q Catrice says, I'm learning so much on this live. Thank you, Queen, for pushing me out of my comfort zone. Courtney, you got this. She does. She does. And those of you, too, that are in the chat, right? Those of you that are in the chat that are listening in and saying, okay, what do I need to do? The first thing you need to decide if you like where you are. Number one, do you like where you are? That's the first question. Why is this important? Because if you don't like where you are and you have harboring feelings and emotions about where you are, you're attracting everything that you're going through because you don't like being there anyway. So you're going to draw in energy that represents what you feel because you chose to be there. So do you like where you are? And how long have you been there? And what has kept you? Because ain't no benefit that great. Because I'm telling you something, you can find one greater. Keisha says, I like where I am. Awesome. And it's okay to not like where you are. But the point is, the more honest you get, the quicker you can turn things around. Yep. All right. I think that's all for today's segment of corporate, Wednesday corporate segment. I hope it's been helpful. I feel excited. I can't wait to see what happens. For those of you that are listening, that are writing things down, do I like where I'm at? What would be the next step? Number 2, whether you like where you are or not, what would be the next step for me? The next step. So if you like where you are and you said, okay, I like where I'm at. Okay, what would be the next step? The next step is just enjoy it. That's good enough. If you don't like where you are, what would be the next step? Queen, I got to get out of here. What does it take to get out of there? I need to do this. All right. And that's how you break it down and you start moving. You don't need to have it all figured out. Just take a step. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ruby Jewels say, I say it every Wednesday during corporate segment. Queen drops nothing but jewels and gems in place. Thank you, Queen and panelists. Yeah, you got to start tooting your own horn in rooms by yourself. We ain't waiting on nobody to mention our name at a table. You got to know what you bring. You got to quit humbling yourself when it comes to your skill set. If you good at it, you better be able to tell that story in those interviews. Straighten your spine, straighten your back, get in there, throw your hat in the ring, and tell them what you can do. Tell them what you've done. Be a great storyteller when it comes to you and your skill set. And you will soon start to notice that everything that's going on in the world has nothing to do with you. They may be getting laid off, but you not. They may be having a hard time, but you not. But you got to have those tough conversations, those transparent conversations with yourself. Because people can sniff out the weak like a wounded animal. Okay? That's it. That's all. And be prepared to go. Be prepared to take on what you're asking for. All right. I think that's it. Any final thoughts, Trendy?
I say put this on replay if you if you need to. And Queen, someone asked you a question,
Okay.
and I feel like I know your answer, but they were saying, what if they do like where they are, but the company may not be doing so well? I feel like I know what your answer is gonna be.
Okay,
but,
okay. Where's that? Who made it? Let me go find it.
I got it. I saw it.
Who was it? Can you come up? The person that said it? I'm gonna drop the link.
Vibrant Thing said it. What if you like but unsure the future of the company with this state?
Okay, let me see. Hold on. Let me see. I'm talking to myself. Let me see if I can find. Oh, here we go. I like my job, but it's crazy. We don't know what the plans are for the future. How come you don't know what the plans are for the future? See, that's when I want you to come up. I'm looking into other options and probably returning to school because I'm not sure about social services field with my, what's Mrs.? Hi, Vibrant Thing.
Hey, how are y'all? I never came up on Queen Sheba before. I'm always in the bushes.
Okay, thank you for coming up. Do you mind me asking you a few questions?
Sure.
Okay. I want you to pay very close attention to the questions, okay?
Okay.
Okay. My first question is, do you like where you are?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been there?
4.5 years since 2020.
Okay. Have you always enjoyed it?
Yes.
Okay. You said, We don't know what the plans are for the future. How come you don't know what the plans are for the future? How come
Well,
you don't know?
well, we work for technically Medicaid. So, in the state that I am in, it is a red state, and we have a red governor. So, it's really like iffy. They've already gotten rid of some people last year. So it's really like it's and then the first meeting that I missed this year because I had taken off from work, but one of my coworkers said she mentioned something about like a riff in employment. So, and then when we brought it up on this last meeting, she didn't want to discuss it, my manager. So it's like, okay, I've been thinking about returning back to school because my master's is in counseling. And I really don't want to I don't do counseling with this job. I am in, like I said, I guess you could say state government or insurance field. And I like that. So just trying to even think of something. And I also work from home, which I love. So I don't know.
You don't know what?
I've been thinking about even returning back to school or getting some other certification so I can get another job or be prepared for another job that would be a work from home job.
So if you knew where you are, okay, when you say we don't know what the plans are, let me ask you this. If you knew what the plans were, would you
Mhm.
still go back to school or look for another job?
If I know we would keep our contract with the state, I will stay with this company.
Okay, so if you knew what the plans were,
Mhm.
would you go back to school?
It just depends what the plans were. I wouldn't go back if the contract is good, but if the contract is bad, I would prefer to go back to school because I really don't want to do counseling. And
So
then my degree is technically more about like is more with I ain't gonna say it's affirmative action, but it's more on helping people with disabilities and things like that and 504 and I just feel like with this government that we're in is pushing so much far just away from those titles and things that I'm not comfortable with staying in, going directly into that field. I would have to stay on the insurance or, medical side of things.
so do you like where you are?
I like it. I really do. I actually like what I do for this company. I just don't know how this will last, or I don't know the future of it because, like I said, dealing in the climate that we're in now, especially with, the people we have at powers that be, I guess.
I hear I hear two things.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you saying I don't know what the future is, but you're talking about the government,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily your company. Are you looking for a reason to leave your company?
No, I'm not looking for a
Okay.
reason to leave my company.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Because I'm trying to figure out if you like it. Because
I like my company.
okay,
They're
that's an
they're
easy
actually
call.
not a bad company.
Okay. Then ask where you are and ask it one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I have a clarifying question for
Go ahead.
Vibrant Thing. Is your company contracted with the government? Is that why it's such a one-to-one? Because you keep mentioning the government. Are y'all contracted by the government?
Yeah, we're like a contract through the state. So, like I said, we're state Medicaid.
Right.
So,
Medicaid is needed. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. You just need more clarity on what you need more clarity on the direction of the business unit. You have to ask.
yes.
And the way you guys are asking is she can't answer that on an all-call meeting,
Mm-hmm.
but you can get a better sense of it in a one-on-one.
Okay.
You can get a better sense and a better feel in a one-on-one. So I want to say you don't know because you really haven't asked. Ask
Okay.
and it shall be given. Seeking ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. Even if she doesn't say anything, she's saying something.
Yeah.
You utilize your one-on-one to get what you need. You go on camera, even if you're usually off camera, because you need to
Mhm.
see her expressions. You need to see her body language. You need to watch her eyes. And you don't wait for her to put the one-on-one on your calendar. You initiate the connect.
Okay.
And you put it in the purpose of the meeting. You state that you would like to talk about business goals.
Okay.
Business goal, however you want to wrap that up. And then
Mhm.
you're going to give her one or two things that y'all are typically talking about. And at the end, say, I have a question for you. And she's going to say, okay, cool. Said, and I pause because I respect your leadership. In your opinion, where do you feel like the future of Medicaid is headed within this corporation?
Okay. Okay.
Based on that response and your intuition and your instinct, it'll tell you everything you need to know.
I need to know. Mhm.
Yes. And you know why you're going to know? Because you asked. And you keep that to yourself. You put your mask on first, and then you offer assistance. And if you decide to leave, if you decide to stay, you tell nobody. You partner with God. You do what you need to do. You put your mask on first and then offer assistance.
Okay.
I hope that helps.
It does. Because like I said, I've already been looking into online programs and everything because I was telling my husband I didn't know what to come from, just everything. And I don't want to operate in fear, but I want to be prepared. So that was my issue.
And you don't share this with coworkers, y'all. When I go from team to team, people be shocked. I had no idea. We eat lunch every, and you're not gonna know.
Mhm.
You're not gonna know. You'll know when I do it. So you keep it to yourself. You have to. It's because the energy is not the energy around you. I know everybody's concerned, but it's a heightened level of fear. You cannot produce and bloom in fear. None of y'all. You're gonna have to shift the soil and replant yourself on solid ground. Only way to do that is to host and facilitate necessary conversations. That's it. Move in silence. Thank you, TNT G Mom. I hope this helps.
It does.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect. That's all. Yay. Thank you, Vibrant T, for coming up. Energy is real. Energy is we all scrambling like crabs in a bucket. You cannot plant there. And I'm not calling those people bad people. They're not. I would give them all the same advice. I need you to I would say work on your stuff one by one, move in silence. That's it. Final thoughts, Trending, before we wrap up.
I'm gonna leave it there. That was awesome.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I hope it was helpful. I understand it's a lot going on, but listen, fear and gratitude cannot exist in the same place. Y'all have a great day and enjoy your Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in to Wednesday segment, Corporate America. Bye, everybody.
Bye.